Well, let's get some more on this now. We can speak to Sahar Aziz, Professor of Law at Rutgers University Law School. She's in Newark, in New Jersey. Thank you very much for your time. Good to talk to you again. As you watched those pictures, what were you thinking?
I was thinking that I'm very concerned with the legitimacy of the Supreme Court in the future. This was a nomination that was rammed through. The average time to nominate and confirm a justice or a nominee for the Supreme Court is 67 days. This was done in 30 days. It was done just 8 days before an election that may change who the president is and who controls the Senate, whether it'll be the Democrats or the Republicans. And I think that many people who do not share the conservative leanings of this new court are going to start questioning its legitimacy and will start thinking it is more of a political body as opposed to a more legal body.
And President Trump raised this point because she was filling the seat of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, an enormously important figure and an entirely different kind of lawyer and human being.
Yes, I mean, just now Justice Barrett has gone on the record saying that she believes that the contraception provision in the Affordable Care Act violates religious freedom. She has gone on the record stating that she believes that Roe v. Wade, she hasn't said she would necessarily overturn it, but she's made statements in the past showing that she supports, she opposes abortion. And there's going to be a case that's going to come before the Supreme Court is going to decide whether it's going to hear a case challenging a Mississippi law that was passed in Mississippi by the legislature and the governor that abortions after 15 weeks are banned unless there's a medical emergency or a severe fetal disability. But there is no exception for rape, no exception for incest. This Friday, in 4 days, the court is going to decide whether it's going to hear that case, and she will now vote in that. And if it comes before the Supreme Court, there's a real question whether they're going to uphold that law that will make it illegal to get an abortion after 15 weeks.
And of course, if the election is very tight, if the Supreme Court is called upon to decide, she will be one of 3 Trump nominees having to decide who is the next president.
Yes, if there is a challenge, if, for example, as President Trump has said, he may not concede if it's found to be that he lost the elections. She's also going to be presiding over some cases that are coming before the court about Trump himself. So, for example, whether or not he must disclose 8 years of tax returns. The Second Circuit has said that, yes, that he's not immune from a grand jury subpoena and that a prosecutor in New York City can get access to his federal taxes. And now she's going to be on that court. And so the question is, will she be biased in her ruling, in her vote? And you've got a 6-3 conservative court. 3 of them were appointed by Trump himself. So there's going to be some very serious questions as to, again, whether this court can be independent from this administration and whether it's going to, in fact, vote based on its policy preferences under the guise of originalism. Of course, judges and lawyers are very good at creating pretext and using semantics to claim that, oh, this isn't about my policy preferences, this is about the law. But again, this is just politicizing the court even more.
Just briefly, Professor, I know it's potentially a big question. She's described as a constitutional originalist. As I understand it, that means she will act only on the letter of the law, the letter of the Constitution as it's written. She will not interpret in the light of modern life.
Well, it tends to also mean that she's going to look at what the congressional intent was. She's going to also look at what the original, if there's a statute at issue, what the congressional intent is, but also she's going to look at what the founding fathers imagined or had in mind when they passed a particular, when they passed the Constitution or when they wrote a particular amendment. And unfortunately, that creates a very stagnant and outdated Constitution. And that's a big jurisprudential divide between those who we would call conservative judges versus
Professor,
liberal judges.
I will have to come back to you on this. Thank you. Forgive me. I'll have to come back to you on that. We're just about to run out of